The goal of this video today is to make you realise if you actually have someone by your side that is there to support you and grow with you, or actually someone that's maybe wearing you thin, and what you need to do to actually change it. Before we get stuck into that today, my name is Kristian Hill. I'm the founder of a coaching program called Ready for Anything. We help high performers, entrepreneurs, execs, people that are in high pressure jobs, that want to be less stressed, that want to live a life and actually see results in everything they're doing without the constant burnouts, the fatigue, wearing themselves thin, and actually becoming more connected to themselves. And I'm on day 15 of posting every single day for 30 days on this channel. It has been a grind, ladies and gents, and I'll be honest with you, I feel a little bit worse for wear off the back end of Sunday. It's Tuesday right now at the point of recording this. I've just got to Mijas in Spain. We're doing a retreat next week here. That's why we're actually over here right now, and hopefully that noise doesn't actually affect this video right now, because I've been trying to film this for a while. But yeah, we went out on Sunday to celebrate Ailey hitting our first ever sub-3 marathon in Vienna, and yeah man, I had 7 drinks and I'm an absolute lightweight now, and alcohol really affects me a lot worse than what it did when I was younger. This is what happens when you're in your 30s, man. Anyway, let's get stuck into this today. And please do me a massive favour, make sure that you've hit subscribe to the channel. It takes 2 seconds to do. So, we were in Bali last year for 6 months, and we got really friendly with a couple, and they were asking us how long we'd been together for, and we were telling them it's coming up to 10 years. It was 9 years in October, and basically, long story short, they were like, that's amazing, like we know so many folk who have travelled, and it ends up actually being the thing that tears apart your relationship. And I really got it, man, because I'll be honest, like, going travelling has been one of the best things I've ever done, but it's also held a mirror up to all the areas in my life where I am insufficient and they are weak. It will expose you. You do not have shelter. You are jumping between places all the time. It's very easy to be overwhelmed, and you really see your own true colours. Therefore, it really tests the strength of your relationship. So when they told me that, I really got it, but it got me thinking about relationships and even how different me and Ailey are to the people we were when we first ever met each other. So for some context, everyone always thinks that because we've been coaches and we're into health and well-being, everyone thinks that we met under that capacity. We didn't. We actually met in a nightclub in Irvine, where I'm from, very, very drunk, man. And 7 drinks used to be what I used to drink before I went out on a night out. Anyway, like, we met under very different circumstances. And the reason why I'm saying this is because to come on here today and sit and give you advice on your relationship, you may be older than me, you may be in a relationship longer than what I have. I am just speaking from my own experiences. Over the last coming up to 10 years, I have been a lot of different iterations of myself. I have went through so many different chapters, so many different seasons, and so is Ailey. You are delusional to believe that when you enter a relationship that you're going to remain the same person. Now, if you go into the relationship in that mindset, that is when you're going to be met with resistance, or you're going to resist against your partner changing as well. Because here's the thing, as human beings, we're always going to change. So I actually had this really interesting thought last week. So for some context, I have taken a massive pivot when it comes to how I show up, how I train, my goals, my identity. I've basically went from being this hardcore guy that takes on massive challenges, does all these things, hybrid performance, competes, pushes himself, to this guy that is literally training like 4 or 5 times a week, lifting weights, total U-turn. And a big part of that was to challenge my own identity and the beliefs that I had about myself, but also because I knew some change was needed, because I was feeling very, very uninspired. I felt like I was being very forceful, and for a long period of time last year, my training just didn't feel incongruent with the type of life I wanted and what I was doing. I just didn't feel inspired, man. And I knew some change was needed, and I'm feeling super inspired right now, and I'm very open. I'm not set on how things are, and I'm not like, I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do that, or it's going to be this long. I am just operating purely from inspiration, and it feels so, so good right now. And yeah, the point I'm trying to get at is, I genuinely convinced myself a few years ago that the way that I trained, the way that I lived my life, the way that I competed, the way that I always chased that endless potential when it came to my physical ability would always be who I was. I genuinely believed that, right? Now, at the wise old age of 32, I'm now at a point where I'm like, yeah man, I'm only just getting started right now, and I'm going to be so many other people. And I was having this little thought, to go back to the point I was talking about, where it's really interesting when you meet someone in life and maybe they're in their 50s and their 60s, and you're like, you hear a bit about them, and they used to be like a crazy marathoner, or they used to be this person that competed and done all these savage things, or an ultra distance endurance athlete, and now they're like, yeah, I just like going walks and I like just being chilled. And I used to be like, I can't get my head around how they are like this now. And now I can get, and I'm just using training as an example because that was my entire identity, and I've taken a massive pivot with it, right? Now, why am I telling you this and talking about relationships? Because you're going to go through so many different points in your life. You're going to meet people, you're going to take on things, you're going to step into environments that happen unintentionally, careers, places that you go to. There's going to be people that come into your life and have such a massive impact in your life. That could be a coach, it could be a mentor, it could just be a friend that you have genuinely met. I have met so many incredible friends on my journey, and I've never ceased to be amazed at how grateful I am for this new relationship that I have. Recently, I've got really close with a guy, Johnny, who was on my podcast recently, and he's just a friend for life. I just know that already. I've got so many other friends like that, but it's amazing that people actually have the belief that the way things are now is the way that they're always going to be. They're not. Like, especially if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, how open and willing you are to gain more experiences and welcome new people in is basically going to be the thing that dictates how your life pretty much pans out. Now, the reason why this all links back to your relationship is because if you have this mindset and your partner does not have this mindset, it's going to be met with resistance. It's going to impact you. Now, what a lot of people don't realise is they think they're someone who chases their goals, right? So they're like, no, my partner's on board, like my wife, my husband, like they're totally all for me doing all the things I'm doing, chasing my business goals, my health goals, like whatever I want to do, like they're all for it until you start doing well. Like, this is the bit you need to remember, because you might have been doing all these things. You might have paid for a coach before, you might have like started a business, done things, but look at the progress you have made. Has it taken you that far away from the person who they met you as? Like, think about it, because this is, a lot of people say that their partner's on board. They say that they're by their side, they're going to support them, and they're always there. But look at the progress you're making, because the true test of the strength of the relationship is when you really start evolving. Because when you really start evolving, it should expose a lot of issues. Otherwise, you would be doing the thing. It should highlight discrepancies that you have in your relationship. Things that you've thought that were okay, but for you to go to that next level you're trying to get to can no longer be okay. Drinking behaviours, eating behaviours, even your mindset, the things that you talk about, the things that you consume. Maybe you're someone that's now starting to evolve a lot more, but all your husband wants to do is sit there and binge watch Netflix, but that's not really in line with what you want to do. That's like a mismatch, right? I'm not saying that you have to start going, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. But when you will begin to really notice the cracks appearing in the barrel is when you really start seeing change. And this is the reason why a lot of people stay the same, is because they only grow as far as their environment allows them to. So what I'm saying right now is, like, really have a God's honest look at the results, at whatever it is you care about most. So, like, what is it that's on your mind most from the moment you wake up? That's typically what you care about most, isn't it? I always say, if I go for a massage, my head's in the little hole, what I think about most is like what's most important to me. So it might be your kids, it might be your business, it might be that you're competing at a sport, it might be that you're going through a big fat loss phase, it might be whatever that is, right? It might be something you've got coming up, a big talk that you're preparing for or something, right? Whatever is consuming your thoughts most is the thing that you care about most. That's it. It's as simple as that. It might be negativity. It might be that you're worried about things, ruminating problems, stressed about things that haven't even happened yet, right? That is the representation of who you are. You are quite literally the amalgamation of what you think about most, right? There you go. There's a bit of a quote for you. But once you actually look at what those results are, ask yourself, how are you getting on with them? Like, how are you actually progressing with them? And if you were to take that up a gear and go to the next level, how strong would your relationship be? How much would that person support you? Or are you actually fearful that they may question you? Because here's the thing, all you need to do is have that conversation. And the thing you need to be doing as well, and we have this a lot with our clients inside of the program because we're coaching them personally, professionally, on every single aspect. How are you approaching these situations? Like, you might be experiencing some resistance with your partner right now. And I get this a lot from clients where they go, oh yeah, my husband said this, my brother said that, my cousin said this, my mum said that. And my first question to them is how are you approaching it? Like, how are you approaching it? Because see if that person, you genuinely love that person and you care about them and they're important to you and they have the same feelings for you. You'll make it work. But you just have to look at the way that you're approaching it, how you're going about it, because I can almost guarantee if there's resistance, it's obviously because that person feels threatened because you're now growing to another level, and the version that they met of you, it almost seems to them like they're losing them. They're actually not, right? Obviously, sometimes this does happen, and when you evolve, it does actually push relationships away, and unfortunately, sometimes things just run their term and we have to part ways. That's what happens. But if you know you're in it, they know that they're in it, you then have to work through this together, and you have to talk about it in a way that's pragmatic and it's not turbulent, it's not met with resistance. So the biggest thing to understand with this, the biggest takeaways from this, is that we're all evolving, right? And if you are at a point where you're the same person as what you were a year ago, never mind 5 years ago, then you're not doing enough growing, man. And if you have been someone that has been very stagnant for years and you've been in a relationship and now you've decided to really level up, prepare for some resistance, because you have created that identity based on your actions and the things that you've done. So you need to take responsibility of that as well. And you need to remember that, because sometimes folk are like, oh, it's because they're jealous, and I've done another video on this before, and they don't get it and they don't want me to progress. Yeah, sometimes maybe it is, but the thing you need to remember as well is that they only know you as this person because it's the way that you've behaved for years. So you need to take some responsibility for that part as well, and understand that if you are changing, then there is going to be this weird fuzzy phase in the middle where, like, it's called transition, where people don't really get what you're doing and understand what you're doing because you're stepping into this new way. You've not fully understood who that is or what you do. Therefore, you need to be aware and conscious of the fact that your partner and your loved ones may not get that initially, and you have to work through that with them as well. So yes, make sure you've hit subscribe to the channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, what you took away from this. And as always, if you want to actually gain our help, support, be coached, evolve as a person, step up, break free from all this stress, anxiety, tension that you place on yourself that you know is unnecessary, then drop me a message saying go, and we'll talk about how we can actually help you and transform your life as well. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you've hit subscribe. See you later. Goodbye.